Season is right around the corner, and we are giving you some players to avoid. We are back. Welcome back to the Fourth and Flex Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Bandy. That guy is Trey, and the time is now, buddy. Welcome back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. That's all right. We are talking about some players to avoid in your fantasy drafts, baby. Hey, the time is coming, Trey, and things are happening. We're talking players to avoid, buddy. How you doing, by the way?
Doing pretty good, man. Just really waiting for the season to come around. It's obviously we still got a little bit of time to get there, but as of right now, I'm just watching guys. Not a whole lot of news in the media, but still, grinding all year long. No days off. You know what I mean? That's how you win fantasy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No days off, indeed. We're going to get to some players that you can avoid. But first, guys, don't forget, please, if you're watching us anywhere, hit the like button. Subscribe to us on YouTube if you haven't done so already, man. If you want to dominate those leagues when September rolls around, we're your guys, buddy. We are your guys. But let's get to the first player that we think you should avoid this fantasy season. And I'm going to just kick it off here with DJ Moore. Probably get a little crap for this, but anybody who knows fantasy knows that too many mouths to feed can be a problem. Look, I'm not denying that DJ Moore is an amazing wide receiver. I love me some DJ Moore. I was on that DJ Moore train last season. But look, Caleb Williams is an untested rookie. I know they say he is going to be one of the best that are coming. He's one guy to look out for sure. But listen, there's a lot of mouths to feed, like I said. But he's still a rookie. So that's something you need to be worried about. Keenan Allen and rookie Rome Adozie are now there, and those are those mouths I was talking about. They're probably going to have to feed, Trey.
Yeah, man, thinking about it, with Caleb Williams coming in and not really, seeing what he's done yet in the NFL type of world, with DJ Moore, it really depends on where he goes in drafts. Obviously, if September comes around, he's falling in the 8th or 9th round. He's worth looking at. But with Keenan Allen over there and the way he's been playing and the way he's going to probably get targeted on this team, I know he's an older receiver, but he has that ability to be the wide receiver one, no problem. And maybe that helps DJ Moore, but I lean on the side of worry here, and I would wait to take him as late as I possibly could, if at all.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Generational talent is what they call it. They said it about Trevor Lawrence. Also, he's been great, but he's taken some time. So this, at least for this season, before I can see how these things and these pieces work together, I'm going to avoid DJ Moore, Trey. Now, look, just because I'm avoiding DJ Moore doesn't mean I'm not going to draft him. I'm just saying at his ADP, it's too rich for my blood, Trey.
I can dig it. Our next guy to avoid on our list this week is a guy that I've been avoiding for years, and that's J.K. Dobbins, man. New team, though, right? New team, new world, still got Gus Edwards on the same team, and Gus Edwards is actually leading RB1 in the depth chart. But looking at it, both of them have a questionable tag. I can think of, maybe twice in the last 2 years that either one of them didn't have a questionable tag. So to me, it's just the injury worry is a big deal. And also, I just don't know that this team is going to be performing at a good rate. I mean, we'll get into a little bit later, but this team is not where it should be.
Absolutely, buddy. You're absolutely right. J.K. Dobbins, he's somebody that there's always a lot of hype around this guy, right? Like, oh, J.K. Dobbins is going to be the man. He's going to be the man. He gets there, and they're right. He's the man. But then give it a couple weeks, he's no longer the man because of injury, Trey. So I'm with you on avoiding J.K. Dobbins on a new team with the same dude from the last team, which I think is crazy, by the way, that those two are. Did they make is there a contract? Are they coming a pair or?
Yeah, I don't know. If they did become one person,
sure,
I would be a lot cooler with drafting that guy. Like Gus Dobbins or J.K. Edwards.
J.K. Edwards. That's what I was about to say, man. Hey, 2 for 1, buy one get one free. Apparently with those two. Good stuff. Good stuff. We're going to move it on to the next guy with the same team. And this might be one that, people could question, but I'm going to give you some reasons why. And that's Justin Herbert. QB1 right there on the Los Angeles Chargers, man. Look, he's no doubt a great quarterback. I'm not saying he's not. We have seen a little digression in the last couple of years, and that was with some main pieces, some guys he knew, some guys he's continued to play with for the years. I'm talking Keenan Allen. I'm talking Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. None of those guys are there anymore. You're not getting the PPR from Austin Eckler catching a little slant and running, for a touchdown 15, 20 yards. You're not going to be getting that anymore. You got J.K. Dobbins, you got Gus Edwards there. We know they can do something. They can help their team, but it worries me, man. When I'm looking at their depth chart, Josh Palmer is the wide receiver 1, okay, which is, that might be something to think about later because we have seen Josh Palmer be that wide receiver 1 and actually do stuff, so that's good. They've got Will Dissly at tight end, and they got DJ Chark on second string, Trey. So.
Yeah, looking at this team, I think the only person that I'm looking to draft on this team is Joshua Palmer, and I want him as like my wide receiver 3, maybe a bench spot. And I don't even know if I can get that kind of value out of it because he is listed as the wide receiver 1. So with Justin Herbert and not having all these options and him just seemed to be on a decline since his rookie season, or since that season that he took off, it just scares me to draft any Chargers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, buddy, I get it, man. With the Chargers, it is scary, a scary team to touch. They seem like they're cleaning house, so it makes sense why we would avoid those guys, buddy.
Moving on to the next guy that I am avoiding in drafts is another guy that I tend to avoid in drafts often, and that's Najee Harris. He's on the Steelers, but he's going around the same time as his counterpart Jaylen Warren. Who, in my opinion, is a better running back and also proven better in the passing game. The split load should be about 50-50 with Warren edging a little bit in the PPR standpoint. So, in my opinion, I would just take Warren the same time that Najee is going. I would rather have Warren on my team all day.
Yeah, man, we've seen Warren come in and just clean house with Najee there. I think I feel like you're right, man. I feel like I'd rather get me some Warren in the late rounds and maybe do something with that rather than rolling on the Najee train that's been a downhill digression this entire time. But we got a comment. CM popping in. Can Justin Herbert have a little rushing upside, Trey?
Yeah, it's definitely possible, and it's probably going to be probable with the team that he has. I mean, he's going to have to do some things because he doesn't have the talent around him to pass the ball off to. So I definitely can see a little bit of rushing upside there for him, but that also increases injury risk, so that's scary.
Yeah, for sure. We have seen Justin Herbert, rush a lot in the past. It's not always, he's not the fastest guy, obviously, but he always gets those tough yards when he needs to. So that's definitely something to look out for old Herbert.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the next guy on the list. Somebody I was super excited about last year, Trey, and now he's on our avoid list this year, and that's Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, look, we saw him as the featured back last year, and that's why I was excited about him, man. Honestly, he got 55 more carries than he did the previous year. No Zeke there. It's scary, man, to think about Tony Pollard. I wouldn't be surprised if Tajee Spears outperforms Tony Pollard. Or if Tony Pollard goes in and he really works it out and he really gets it to where you think he can do this, man, then I think he could do something. But I'm not willing to take the risk on Tony Pollard. I took the risk last year. We bet our fantasy season on Tony Pollard last year, and it didn't pan out, buddy.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of potential with Tony Pollard as a player. But we just haven't been able to see him produce that on the field. And, going to the Titans, you got Tajee Spears there, who really took a step up last year. It's probably going to be a split backfield. We've seen Tony Pollard not be able to handle that amount of workload to be able to be a solo back. And it does worry me. And the name still has some hype to it in drafts. So, I'm not taking him early whatsoever.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Moving on to the next guy on the same team, give me Calvin Ridley to not be drafted in my leagues. It's very simple with me with Calvin Ridley. Him and DeAndre Hopkins are going around the same time in drafts, and I'd just rather have Hopkins all day. He knows the team. He has a connection with the quarterback, and he's just all-around better receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. D-Hop, Calvin Ridley, same team. We got Will Levis throwing them the ball. It's competition, man. If I'm looking down the field, I'm looking for D-Hop. You know what I mean? On this team, Calvin Ridley might be able to get some stuff, but because D-Hop's getting that double coverage, so that might be something. Calvin Ridley is a guy that we talked about last year a lot. I mean, the hype on Calvin Ridley was insane last year. He's coming back, man. He was great when he was in Atlanta. But he really underperformed.
Yeah.
Most of the year. He had a couple games here and there where you're like, okay, this is what we've been waiting for. But then the next week, he went down, man. So I'm avoiding Calvin Ridley as well. Again, if he is there in the later rounds, I might snag him up.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, with Calvin Ridley is that he did have a couple good performing games, but, I think with anybody on the Titans offense lately, it's been the Titans perform and they don't perform, and it's kind of, predictable that Calvin Ridley is going to have a couple good games, but also, is that going to be the week that you start him, or is that going to be the week you bench him because he's had 3 bad games in a row?
Exactly. I just kind of feel like the Titans and the Chargers are kind of in the same boat. I feel like they're kind of mailing it in this year. This is kind of just like a recovery year. This is a let's see what we can do with what we got type of year. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
All right, buddy. We're nailing this list, man. Going down, man. We got a couple more to go. Javonte Williams on the Broncos, man. I got to tell you, I have never been very impressed by Javonte Williams, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful. I had him in his rookie year, okay? His rookie year, he rushed for 903 yards, okay, and 4 touchdowns while averaging 4.4 yards per carry. Now, that is still the best that he's done, okay? The rookie season, not breaking 1,000 yards, that is still his best with the 4.4 yards per carry especially. And he's injury prone. Javonte Williams, there was a little bit of hype last year, like he's a good running back you can get for value a little later. That's what everybody said. I think he played a couple weeks. He got hurt. I think he even got injured in his rookie year, and maybe that's why he didn't pass that 1,000-yard mark that I was talking about. But, I'm staying away from Javonte Williams and basically all the Broncos, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, with Russell Wilson, when he was on the Broncos, everybody was kind of steering clear of their offense anyway. And now that he's gone, I think it's even more of a dumpster fire. And I know Russell Wilson didn't benefit that team too much, but he did a little bit more for fantasy purposes. And Javonte Williams being injury prone and everything like that, there's just too many backs and too many boomer bust backs to take risks on, where you wouldn't have to rely on Javonte Williams. Give me like an Austin Eckler, who's a bigger boomer bust in my opinion, but has a higher boom side than a bust. And Javonte Williams to me leans towards the bust side.
Absolutely, bro. Austin Eckler is a guy that I feel like is being undervalued a lot. So I think definitely when you get Austin Eckler, whichever round you get him in, it's going to be value anyways.
100%.
Yeah, buddy.
Moving on to the next guy on our list, it is the man, the myth, the massage legend, Deshaun Watson. And this is obviously for Superflex leagues. I know you're probably not drafting Deshaun Watson as your quarterback in a regular league, but some people are looking for him as their QB2 or Superflex, and I just don't think it's a good idea. The only reason Deshaun Watson is still starting is because they paid him so much money. He has not been good since he left Houston, and this year won't be any different. We had a few good games here and there for fantasy, but that's what you're going to get out of this year. You're going to have a few good games from Deshaun Watson, and that's it. And he's going to look like shit the rest of the year. And then probably at the end of the year, the team's going to figure out how to get out of this contract.
I hope so. The Browns, they took a risk on this guy. They gave him a lot of guaranteed money, and I feel like you can't pay a guy that much money and expect him to overperform. Am I right? Like, there is nothing he can do that not make him get that money.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's guaranteed. So he doesn't even need to try. He's not going to try to rush for first downs and stuff like that. He's not going to worry about getting hurt. He don't want to be in pain. He's like, I'm already getting my bag. I'm going to sit back, throw a couple passes. If I throw an interception, so what? Write me a check.
It sure makes you think that, is that what he's all about? Like, does he care about the game of football, or is it all about that money with him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Yo, Mr. Bakes a lot coming in the comments. What up, homies?
What up, what up?
What's up, Mr. Bakes a lot? What's happening, buddy? Don't forget to hit that like button for us, man. Show some support for your boys over here. How you like the new studio, man? We killing it, right? But right now we're talking about some players to avoid in your 2024 fantasy football draft, man. We got a couple more of these bad boys to go. I'm going to bust out some Josh Jacobs, okay? Josh Jacobs, we seen him get the volume last year, and he couldn't cut it. He couldn't cut it, man. Matt LaFleur is a running back by committee type of guy. A.J. Dillon had double-digit carries in games when Aaron Jones was healthy. So what does that tell you, man? Does that tell you Josh Jacobs is going to come in and be the man? He can be. He could be. But double-digit carries for the second running back scares me. Josh Jacobs, he had that amazing season in 2022. Okay, he came back 2023 hard. He was going super, super high in drafts, and it wasn't working out. So he's going to have to prove some stuff, man. And these are some risks that I just feel like I'm not going to take. I'm not going to put my fantasy season on something like that, Maybe for some depth, but he probably won't be there for depth.
Yeah, man, with Josh Jacobs, I think he's peaked already in his career, and I think he's on the decline at this point. And maybe this new team will strike a little bit of a resurgence in him. But with the way things are going, I just don't see him being that kind of value in my drafts that I'm looking for.
Exactly, buddy, exactly.
Moving on to our last guy on this list, it is the man, Mark Andrews, on a team with Lamar Jackson, who has shown that he can put up fantasy points, but he's very injury prone. I mean, I feel like every year that I've had Mark Andrews, he's missed 6 games of the season. And then obviously it's not hard to fight around and find a tight end, but I'd rather find a tight end that I can just set it and forget it with. And Mark Andrews, I really think this year with all the changes that they're doing in Baltimore, it's not going to be the same. I mean, you got Derrick Henry, who in his older age is preferring a little bit of PPR action, so that way he's already open and can run heavy downfield. That's going to take away targets from Mark Andrews that he might not already even be getting. And I just don't see Mark Andrews being on my team for his draft value.
No, absolutely not, man. He was usually going for as like the tight end 2 in a lot of leagues, and that's been consistent for the last couple of years with Mark Andrews, and I'm just not about that life, man. I'm not going to go that high to get Mark Andrews anyways, based on injuries. That has been stacking up. Those are stacking up. He is a great player, man, but they gotta get him the ball more. When he is there, a lot of times he's just there blocking. He does a lot of blocking, but it's just Mark Andrews is too rich for my blood, Trey.
I don't think Mark Andrews makes it as a top 8 tight end this year.
That's not hard to do with the tight ends, but I could absolutely see that not happening, buddy. Let's see. CM says Swift Bears running back should be avoided. Reason being, William breaks the touchdown record with him on the team, and Jalen Hurts is basically the goal line back for the Eagles. Coaches don't seem to trust him. And then he says,
Swift.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'm avoiding the whole Bears offense, 3 wide receivers to feed, and 3-headed backfield.
Yeah, man, and I agree. I think there's a lot of offenses that I'm completely avoiding. We got the Bears, we got the Broncos, we got the Chargers, and the Titans, maybe outside of D-Hop. Just because he is falling in drafts, and I think it's a decent value.
Exactly, buddy, exactly. But guys, that is a few players to avoid in your fantasy drafts in 2024. Guys, again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to your boys if you haven't done so already. Apologize again for the technical difficulties, but hey, man, we're getting our studio set up and we're going to make this a bad boy, Trey.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and we shall see thee on the next one.
Peace.
balls of steel, this guy. He's got big balls.